Hi and welcome back to Inner Child Play Therapy's YouTube channel. Again, if you find any of these videos useful or helpful, please subscribe and also like and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. So today's topic is going to be puppets. So these are ones that I feel that sometimes we maybe have them lying in a playroom, or we've maybe got one that they've picked up somewhere, but it's not maybe one that's utilised all the time. Puppets are a fantastic way to play out situations, scenarios, but distancing it from the child so they don't feel like you're directly talking about them or you're trying to have that direct conversation with them, especially if they're not ready to do that. So there's so many different ways we can use puppets, but firstly I just want to show when I'm working with children and puppets, I tend to match the size of puppets. So if one of the kids was to pick a puppet up that's kind of like a small hand puppet like this, then I would go for one similar size. Reason I do that is because then you haven't got one that's bigger or smaller than the other. So always try and match. So if you are, say you go out and you do get some puppets, try and get two that are similar size. They don't have to be the same animal or character, but as long as they're similar in size. So I have hand puppets and I have finger puppets, and then we've got some of our bigger ones. So the kids love playing with puppets, so they do, and they're all so bright and colourful. I really like them. So starting off with puppets, you can use them in different ways. So the first way that I tend to use them in the playroom, because obviously I am a therapist, we're using them differently, is I take the child's lead. So usually whenever a child picks up a puppet, I choose the other. But if there's a particular concern that your child is presenting or they're very anxious about something, sometimes bringing out the puppets is a great way to play that out with them. So we're going to use the example of not going to school. So say your child's really anxious about going to school, or they don't like going to school, or they're struggling with a friendship. So again, you would choose two puppets. You have one and they have the other. I always let them kind of choose mine as well if they want. Unless they tell me, no, you choose it, then I will. So what you would do is you would get your puppets each. And I often, again, if it's your child and you know your child's a little bit anxious and they kind of feel a bit silly maybe with the puppet, then you initiate it. So I kind of again would start off with the puppet kind of moving, and I'd be like, oh, it's all right, calm down, it's okay. And if my child is presenting shy, then I would present the puppet as shy, and the puppet maybe would look and go away again, and I would be, it's okay, and I would start to talk to the puppet, or I put it up to my ear and do things like this and pretend the puppet's talking to me. And whenever you do that, you straight away, the child kind of looks at you and it's like, well, what are they saying? And they're intrigued to know what's going on. So again, if you know the topics, actually they're struggling with going to school, you'd be like, oh, do you know what? And I would give him a name, or I would say maybe, so we'll call him Bluey. So Bluey's really struggling with going to school. He doesn't want to leave me today. Oh, he said he's quite sad. Oh, I wonder how your puppet's feeling. Reflect it over. So this is how you're starting to generate the conversation of getting things to flow. And they would maybe get their puppet, and then you'll see them trying to do the talking into the ear and things like that. And you start that off trying to get the conversation going. And then what I would do is I would start to use my puppet and kind of act the way that your child acts. So if your child starts to get teary, you could maybe have them starting to cry or things like that. And then perhaps going, oh, I just have no idea what I'm going to do. I wonder, does your puppet have any ideas what we could do to help Bluey? Because I'm really stuck. I have no idea what to do. So you're starting to put the conversation back onto the child, and they're using it through their puppet. But if your child's really struggling with that, then what I would do is I'd say, I wonder, would you like to look after Bluey, and maybe I could go and have a think and maybe grab someone else to maybe give us some advice, and let them kind of take on the role as Bluey, so they can hold on to this puppet, put their hand in and start to incorporate it, and you can then bring in another puppet who's kind of like the wise old person as such, and then you can start to give suggestions through the puppets. So if your child is being Bluey and they're pretend to be sad, and then you're calling in the wise, wistful bird, then you can say, oh, hold on, the bird's talking to me. Oh my goodness, okay. So the bird wants to know, why is it that Bluey gets really sad? What do we know that? And you can move the bird and things like this, and you can see how it'd be funny and interactive, and let them start to incorporate. So that's just a wee brief way of trying to introduce a conversation. But again, you're making that quite direct because you know there's a particular concern or issue that you're wanting to bring up. So you can try that one, and all you need for that is, look, one or two puppets. Again, match the size. I also would take away all devices. Again, set a timer on, because it's good to know that you're letting your child know that you're setting this time aside for them, and it's good for you to know that actually in case you have other things to do, you're going, right, well look, I can give this 10-15 minutes here for them, just them, and that's it. And take all devices away and make it fun and interactive for them. That's the only way of doing it, okay? So I do think that's a great way of trying to interact with your kids and doing it in a way that's not coming out and going, well, why are you upset about this and what's wrong with you? Because they just shut down. But you have to kind of set the tone. So if you're being quite imaginative and funny and playful and oh my goodness, then they'll kind of meet that energy. Whereas if you're coming in and you're a bit uncomfortable with it, or you're feeling a bit apprehensive about playing with a puppet, then your child's going to pick up on that energy as well. So it's about us setting the bar, I suppose, for the child and kind of getting that energy going and really making it interesting and fun and exaggerating and all the rest of it. So that's one you can try, okay? The next one that I quite like is creating a puppet show. So this is one that you really can incorporate, like, so say you've got more than one child in the house, and they're all kind of wanting to get engaged in it as well. Again, so it could be, for example, if you've got a new situation coming up, maybe you're going on holiday, or there's going to be a new baby in the house, or any of these big kind of events that's going to impact the family, and you know your child's maybe going to struggle with it, or you know just talking to him's not working, playing out through puppets is amazing. So you could give everyone in the house gets their own puppet, so include parents in this one as well, and then you all sit down, and this would be tailored probably more towards the older kids a wee bit, and I'd be sitting down and be like, right, okay, so what is our story going to be about? What is our puppet show going to be about? So it's about setting a theme. I know, it could be about going on holidays. Yeah, that's a good idea. Sit down, and then you can even do it again, like you could draw like a big bubble and have a holiday and do like a mind map as such. And this is really good as well for the older kids to really get them engaged. And they'll be like, right, okay, so then who's going to be what character? Oh, I want to be this monster and I want to be this, and everyone gets their character. And then I'd be like, okay, let's create a script. So this does take a long time. This can be longer, but again, this is a really good activity to do, especially like where summer's coming up. We're going to get a wee bit hard to try and entertain all our kids, but this is a really, really nice way to do that. And it is, again, it's a really good way of engaging the family as well, so that nobody's feeling left out. And you know, even the youngest ones, even a 2-year-old, 3-year-old can grab a puppet and take on that wee role and things like that. And whenever you do that, then it's about following kind of like, so you've got your theme, you've got your script, and then it's like, okay, what are we going to do now? Let's find a background. So look, it can be getting a sheet and putting it over, you know, chairs, things like that, anything simple, and then setting up your iPhone or your tablet or your iPad or whatever, and record yourselves doing it. So really, realistically, really do make like a puppet show and have them coming in. The kids will love it because they all love watching YouTube. They all love watching other people play with toys. So get them to do it. And then what you can do after you've created is, how about we create like a poster so we let people know that we're having our puppet show this evening, we're going to show our puppet show. And again, look, keep it in the family. Again, if you have grandparents, or if you can, of course, incorporate them in, and you can get the kids in to paint a poster and whatever, and then they can put it up in the house, and then you can show your puppet show at home. You can get some popcorn or things like that and really make it a big family thing. This is a lovely way to spend like an activity with your kids. And again, you can make it as long or as short as you want. You can make the, you know, creating the script and things as simple or as elaborate as you want, again, depending on the age of the child. If you have a child maybe 10, 8, 9 who is really into the acting and drama, then yeah, they might want to spend more time and write down a script or whatever. But if you have younger kids, maybe like 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're kind of not really interested, just let them go with the flow. You know, at the end of the day, it's only for you, it's only a bit of fun. But these are really good ways to try out with the puppets. So that's another wee one that I like to use with the puppets as well, is creating a show. And again, you can put it around a theme that you maybe know that's coming up, that again, start in school, start in nursery, all those wee kind of big moments in children's lives that you know need to be addressed, but we're maybe not wondering how to do it. Grab for puppets, great way. Another wee one that you can use with puppets, again, I tend to do this on a 1-to-1 base, so again, I do it with me and another child, is doing it in silence. So this is an interesting one. Again, this one can be done maybe with their older kids who can obviously read and write. So it would be that you've got your puppets, but instead of talking, going, oh, the puppet's saying this and the puppet's talking like this, you would pass notes. So you would start off, so say I'm this puppet, I would start off and I would write a note and I would put it in the puppet's hand and I would pass it over to the cat. But under that might be, I'm a little nervous today, I wonder how you're feeling. And then the cat then would do what they're writing. But it's really important at the very start of this to let them know that this is what your puppet's thinking and saying, it's not you. And again, it lets your child then, if there's anything that's bothering them or something that they just don't want to directly talk about, they're dissing it because it's actually not how they're feeling, it's how their puppet's feeling, it's how their cat's feeling or their parrot or whatever. And again, it keeps that distance from the concern that they're having whenever they're not really ready to face it there and then, or again, they just don't know how to talk about it. But when we do it through play and we can do it through the use of the puppets, it can really help them with that, and it can allow that again, that opportunity for connection, for communication to happen. But we're not going to use our words for this one. This one is writing. So this might suit the ones that are a wee bit older, but that's another good wee technique. And you can do that back and forward. So it would be like just it's like passing messages kind of thing. Initially that's all it is. You're just writing little notes to each other, but again, it can be quite fun because whenever you say, I get a note back and it says, oh, I'm really excited, I'm like, oh, what? Oh my goodness, Parrot's just told me that the cat's really excited today. Wonder how you're feeling, Parrot. And then he can go on ahead and he can write what he needs to do. And that's a really useful way. And these can be used for anything. Again, if you've got children who are struggling with toileting, bring out the puppets. Children struggle with eating, bring out the puppets. And again, these are all great wee techniques because if you've got a child that's struggling with eating or a really fussy eater, then you can bring out the puppets and you could be doing general play and then you could add in food and be like, oh no, he won't eat that. He does not like any of that food. And you can, again, kind of incorporate what your behaviours or your child does and displays and bring it through the puppet so that your child's actually getting to see what it's like, but you're not saying this is how you behave. So it's not so direct for them. So those are wee ideas around the puppets. So do have it, give it a go. If you have any puppets in, try them and let me know how you get on. Thanks now. Bye.